Hello my loves, beautiful alchemists, welcome. This is Elina. I'm an energy healer, intuitive medium, tarot master and channel, and today I want to talk to you about something that is happening to a lot of people, especially after the first stages of their spiritual awakening, and that is flashbacks. You could be having lots of different flashbacks. You could be having emotional flashbacks or pictures, visuals, or memories seemingly from different times of your life, and you could be wondering what the heck is that about, because some of them might actually be leaving you breathless, because they could be, flashbacks or reflections from times in your life where you went through things that maybe you haven't fully processed yet, or just you're not ready to look yet. Some of us go through things that we can't just be expected to heal from these things like overnight. And don't let anybody shame you into thinking that you should be holy and healed now that you are on the spiritual path. This is something that is happening very gradually, and if you have been chronically abused in your past, you understand that this requires a chronic attitude in regards to your healing. We need chronically, consistently, radically, again and again and again showing up for our healing. So something that happens with spiritual awakening is something called a life review. A lot of people might say that they've had a one-off event where, they connected with their angels, their spirit teams, or their higher selves, or they had some kind of revelation in regards to, they had like a life review. They saw like parts of their life, and they, observing it from the outside, they realized how they had been living their lives, and maybe that wasn't in alignment with who they are on a soul level. And now therefore, by having this insight, they're like, okay, now I need to start moving differently. But in my experience, often the spiritual journey and being a medium, I've seen that so often it feels very anticlimactic. Like a lot of people are always expecting for some kind of huge event or experience where there's this big light sheds from the sky on you, and you have all sorts of things revealed to you. Your whole purpose is given to you, written on a piece of paper. But in my experience, that's not always the case. Things do tend to be way more subtle, so subtle that unless you prioritize time and space for these revelations to come in, this could be so subtle you could actually miss out on it. So nevertheless, Spirit never gives up. They keep on trying to send you signs. They keep on sending you information or experiences through which you are finally maybe able to receive the message. I remember at the very beginning of my spiritual awakening, and I really mean that slither of time where you think you're going crazy, and I was with my man at the parking lot of a supermarket, and a guy drives next to us. He goes out of his car and he's talking on the phone with someone, and he said something very, very profound that when I heard it, I almost started bawling my eyes out, because I felt like, yeah, this is what I needed to hear. This is like the answer to what I was praying for and asking Spirit for. And look, it didn't come to me in a revelation. It didn't come to me even in a dream. It didn't come to me in a reading or whatever. It actually came through, I don't even know this person. He was just literally just passing next to me, and he was saying something to someone on the phone, and that now was applying to me. I was just at the right place at the right time to just bump on this, to hear this piece of information that was crucial and vital at this point of my journey. So it could be therefore that the life review is not happening for you in this manner where suddenly you have a soul cracking, soul opening, heart opening experience, but instead it's coming more in pieces and bits and parts, and revealing or unfolding or being unveiled more. You are also moving forward and are processing, healing, further expanding, or further integrating various fragmented aspects of you. And so the flashbacks you are having could actually be part of the life review process that is happening when we're undergoing a spiritual awakening, depending, because everybody's different. Our experiences and also what we need in order to heal is very different. So if you are having a spiritual awakening, but let's say you're coming from very traumatic experiences, Spirit is not going to overwhelm you by sending you a spiritual awakening that feels more than what you can take. And by all means, I know people have had like psychotic episodes and all sorts of stuff, but it's always what we can take. And when it's more, usually it's because there are other factors also involved. I don't want to scare anybody, but often what happens in a spiritual awakening is our light body kind of explodes because the access to the light force energy is available to us. It explodes, the pipes open up, and that can invite around us various energies that seek to benefit from that. And so you could be going through a spiritual awakening and you could be going through psychic attack at the same time. I know this happened to me, but the life review, therefore, if your spiritual awakening is already challenging, could be something that is introduced into your path a little later on, or it's introduced into tiny bits and pieces. So it could be that you don't have any particular thing that you're doing. You're just, I don't know, out grocery shopping, and then you're getting always like these flashbacks, and it's of different things. It's not, let's say, one event only. It's like, why am I now just getting a flashback of me just randomly walking down a street in Athens where I lived when I was 16? I mean, there's not even something traumatic or dramatic about it. It's just really like a flashback where I'm just seeing just a snapshot of my life at some point, somewhere in time. So this is really either part of a life review phenomenon that is happening for you, where on the background this is running and you're just getting here and there glimpses of that this process is running in the background. There's a life review happening and your soul is actually like going through this process in the background. Or even, and what I'm feeling more and more is happening for me currently, and I've had so much of that happening lately, and that's what inspired me to come here and talk to you guys, because I sat with my angels and I asked them and I said, hey, listen, what's with all of these like flashes of times and snapshots of my life from like different times in this lifetime, not past lifetimes, okay? And what Spirit was telling me was like, don't freak out, actually be happy, because what you are seeing it's a total recall that is happening. Parts of you that had been ostracized had, this fragmentation process that happens when we go through trauma. And I find that Teal Swan is describing the fragmentation process like wonderfully, and she has based her whole healing modality on that. Like, she's calling it the completion process, like our broken pieces, our broken selves that broke from everything we went through. Because the soul journey can be something that beats us down black and blue, and it can break us apart in so many ways. So the completion process, putting this back together, right? Healing the fragmentation within our soul. So usually that's what is happening, and it's a recall of parts and aspects of us that had been scattered around, disowned and exiled, and now they're all coming back. They're being called back into you in a integration process. And that's why, therefore, you could be having these flashbacks. Specifically, each flashback that you have, let's say each time or version of yourself that you are seeing in this flashback memory, it could be that very specific version of you that is being recalled and pulled back into you, like fully to integrate, or is integrating in that moment as you are having the flashback. So people who have gone through complex trauma, we could be suffering from complex PTSD, complex post-traumatic stress, and this also brings flashbacks. So we might have to discern between which of these flashbacks are really like post-traumatic stress and parts of us that require our attention, like require us to sit down and try to like self-regulate and regulate our nervous system, and which ones are really just a part of this life review process or reintegration process that is running in the background, and we're just getting glimpses of that because we're getting glimpses because it may be too disruptive to get it full blown in our faces for us to see everything that's been going on. And we are here, like the conscious part of us is here, the logical part of us is here, but there's like this whole big part of us that is operating on another level that we do not see. It's that level where soul agreements are taking place, or a lot of processing is happening. And so this could be bleeding through into your human experience. You could be picking up on glimpses, of something that's happening behind the scenes for you. So having said that, I don't want you to worry. I feel like just me sharing this information, you're going to feel inside of you which one resonates, and if it is PTSD that you are having, you will know it's my PTSD. Or if it's the life review thing, you're gonna feel, okay, so it's a life review. You're gonna know inside of you which one it is. But I do ought to say that both can be happening at the same time, can be overlapping, okay? Or glimpses of something seemingly irrelevant could actually trigger, let's say, PTSD flashbacks. Everything can be in the menu. So nervous system regulation, you guys, is the most important thing we need to prioritize during a spiritual awakening, and just literally wait it out while seeing to it that we try and do the best that we can each time for ourselves. The reparenting process is very important, us becoming sovereign, the sole authorities over our lives, and it's going to get better. But yeah, currently a lot of light workers could have a life review going on, even though their spiritual awakening might have already taken place, let's say even 10 years ago. But now it's very, very strong because there's so much timeline activity that is going on right now, like I've never seen before, or at least maybe I wasn't so perceptive before, and now I'm becoming perceptive to that. I don't know, but it's insane what's happening right now with the timelines and the reintegration in order also to pull all timelines into one, or so I comprehended from what I'm being shown. So I hope that this helped give a little bit of insight and clarity into this whole flashback life review situation that a lot of you are writing me about. And it's so synchronistic as always, because I've been experiencing this myself. I even had experiences where maybe not a specific flashback, like a picture, like a visual, but songs that I used to listen to specifically at a time in my life, specific albums from specific bands. Because with me, this is also happening, that this is something characteristic about me as a teenager especially. I wouldn't just listen to music. No, I would have one album or one song and I would melt the record, until I get bored of it. It could be a whole year. So I have kind of like archived in my head whole eras and seasons and times and periods in my life, labeled, archived under the kind of music that I was listening to, because I was like, okay, yeah, that year was the year that this album was on repeat. Like in the end, we had CDs back then. The CD was like, unable to function anymore. So that's just me. And so I have started to be more open to receiving information and insight as to what is currently being integrated, kind of like piecing the puzzle together based on, this kind of a song. What does it take me back to? Oh yeah, it was that time, it was 2010. Oh, and now I'm having these visuals all the time of when I was riding the train to go there. Yeah, that's almost kind of like the same period, 2010, 2011. Okay, so this version of me, this aspect, this Elina is apparently now receiving some kind of total recall or, healing or reintegration. What will help is often if I reach through, let's say I visualize, or in my meditation, if I see current Elina reaching through and going to that Elina and speaking to her, saying something comforting, or saying what I now know would have helped me if someone would have told me that back then. And I usually see that these particular flashbacks that I approach like that, they tend to not return. So my loves, I wish you a wonderful time ahead, and I send you all of my love. Goodbye for now.